Hey guys, welcome to Tech Ginger. My name is Nunya, and today we are going to be looking at a Leetcode problem. So the problem we are going to be looking at is the two-sum problem, which is a very popular problem. So let's look at the question, and I'm going to give you an implementation of it in TypeScript. Okay, so I'm here on Leetcode, and we are going to look at the problem. So given an array of integers nums and an integer target, return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to the target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not have the same element twice, or you may not use the same elements twice. You can return the answer in any order. So let me use this example to explain. So you are given an array of integers, right, nums, and you have a target 9. So the problem is to find two numbers inside this array that add up to give you the target 9. So as you can see, if you add up 2 and 7, you are going to get 9. 2 is at the first index, which is 0, and 7 is at the second index, which is 1, right? So you return 0 and 1, right? So 2 and 7 give you 9. So that's the problem. Now, I'm going to give you the solution, but I'm going to do that inside my VS Code, and I will copy the solution, paste that into the Leetcode, and then run it to see if we got the solution correct. Okay, so I have the same example over here, and I'm going to explain with this example how you can come up with a solution. Now, by intuition, right, the first thing you want to do is to brute force the solution. That is, write two loops that would check if there are numbers inside here that are equal to the target. So you basically have an outer loop and an inner loop. So the outer loop is going to be on 2, and then your inner loop is going to represent the rest of the array, right? So you're going to be checking if any number in the rest of the array adds up to 2 to give you 9, and you're going to be doing that until you get a number that adds up with the current number that you're iterating on. That will give you your target value. But then if your number is at the end over here, so let's say 7 was here and this was rather 15, so let me change this to 7, right? So that means if your outer loop is here, your inner loop is going to be only 7. So that means you are going to loop through to the last element before you are able to get your solution. That is the worst case scenario inside this array, right? The worst case scenario is that 7 is here. So that means you are going to loop all the way to the end. Your inner loop is going to loop all the way to the end before you get a solution. And that gives you a big O of actually n squared. I can't write square, so let me put 2 over there. So big O raised to the power n squared, and that is not very efficient. So we are going to talk about a very efficient solution that is actually big O of n, and this is how it goes, right? So we are going to be using a map to do this. So how does this work? Your map is going to represent values and indexes. So the values inside this array with their corresponding index. So this is what I mean. So you're going to have a map that is going to be like something. So if you loop through this array, we are going to have 2, its index is 0. We are going to have 15, its index is 1. So let me put a column over here. We are going to have 11, its index is 2, and so on and so forth, right? But let me quickly change this to what we had at first. So 7 and 15, right? This was the original array according to Leetcode. So we are going to have a map like this. So the map is going to hold the value in the array and the index. Okay, so let me go on with the solution. Okay, so we take the target minus the current number we are iterating on, right? And we get a result. So we check if the result is in the map. If it's not in the map, we put the number in the map with its index. If it's in the map, we return the value and the index of the current iteration. So I know this is a lot, so let me explain it to you. So using the same array, this is what we do. We are looping through this array, and then whenever we loop through the array, we subtract the target from the current number that we are iterating on. So I'm going to do this over here. So we pick 9, which is the target, minus the first element in our array, which is 2, right? So 9 minus 2 is equal to 7. And we check if 7 is inside the current map that we have. So we don't have anything in our map, so 7 is not in our map. So because of that, we put 2, which is the element inside the map with its index. Its index is what? 0. and then we move on to the next element, right? And we do the same thing. So 9 minus the next element is 7, right? Which is equal to 2. So now we check, is 2 in the map? Fortunately for us, there is 2 in the map, right? So what do we do in this scenario? So because there's 2 in the map, we return the value. So we return its index, right? And the index of the current iteration. So we return the index of 2. The index of 2 is what? 0. And then the index of the current iteration, we subtracted 7 from 9. So we are on 7, right? So the index of 7 is what? 1. So that is the solution. So if you look at the Leetcode web page, they tell you that the output is going to be 0 and 1. So this is how we are going to do it. So let me just dive straight into the code so that we see how we implement this. Okay, so before we go to the solution, I've jumbled up this array a bit so that we better understand the solution that we are going to be using, right? So let's start again. So we are having 9, which is our target, and we take 2 from it, and the answer is 7. We'll check if 7 is inside the map. 7 is not inside the map, so we put 2 inside the map. So we are going to have 2 over here, and its index is 0. All right, great. Now we pick 15, right? And we do 9 minus 15, which is equal to, I think that's 6, right? We check if 6 is inside the map. 6 is not inside the map, so we put 15 in the map. So 15 with its index is 1. Okay, so we move on to the next number. The next number is 11, right? So we do 9 minus 11, and the answer for that is 3, right? We check if 3 is inside the map. 3 is not inside the map, so we put 11 inside the map. Okay, and its index is 2. Now we move on to 7, right? And we say 9 minus 7, which is equal to 2. Okay, we check if 2 is inside the map. Yes, 2 is inside the map. What do? We return the index of 2, which is over here, 0. And then we return the index of the current iteration, right? So we are on 7. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So that will be 3. So in this kind of solution, in this kind of array, given this array, the solution for this is going to be 0 and 3. So I hope you understood this. Now let's dive into some code and let's see how we are supposed to implement this in TypeScript. Okay, so I copied the function signature from Leetcode and I've pasted that into my IDE, and we are going to be working with that. So we have a function that takes a number, it takes an array and a target number, and then it returns an array that contains numbers, right? So let's go on with the solution. So we are going to create a variable. We are going to name this is our map, so we are going to name it num map, and which is going to be equal to an empty map, right? Let's type this, let's give it a type. So we have a map which contains 2 numbers, so number, the value, and the second number, which is going to be the index. So we write a loop to basically go through this array over here. So with our loop, we are going to say let I equal to 0, and we are going to say I less than nums, our array dot length, and then we are going to say I plus plus. Okay, so the next thing to do is to calculate the difference, and I'm going to create a variable for that. So I'm going to say const difference is going to be equal to the target minus the particular iteration that we are on, right? And then we do the check. So we say if, and we say we are checking the num map, right? We are checking our map over here. We are saying if it has the difference, then if it has a difference, we want to basically return the we are going to return the particular index that we have found. So we are going to say nummap.get and pass in the difference. So let me quickly show you this. So if I put my mouse on this, it tells you that returns the element associated with the specified key. So we have found the difference inside our map, so we want to return its value. So we are returning that and the particular index that we are on, right? So I have to put an exclamation mark over here to show that this is not going to return undefined or null, right? This is how we check that in TypeScript. Okay, so if it's not in the map, right, then we are just going to put that particular number in the map. So we are going to say now map.set, and then we are going to pick the current iteration with its index, right? So if I put the mouse on this, I'm going to say add a new element with the specified key and value to the map. So here the key is the number that we are iterating on, and the value is the index. So yeah, so that's how simple it is, right? So if we do all this and we don't get anything, we can just say return an empty array. So I have to put a new keyword over here. So that's it. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to head over to Leetcode and see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to paste the solution over here, and then I'm going to click on the run button, and let's hope that everything works well, right? Okay, so our solution works. I'm going to submit this, and then we are going to see the final result. Okay, let's wait for that, and then yes, so this has been submitted and everything works fine. So this is the solution, and you can go through the explanation that I gave one more time to understand it. This is 2Sum for you, and I'll see you in the next video.